Hello everyone, this is Ola. Now I'll discuss one type of the four types of tissue that we have in our body, which is the epithelial tissue. Remember that we have four types of tissue: the epithelium, the connective tissue, muscle tissue, and the nervous tissue. Let's now begin with the very first one, which is the epithelium. So the epithelium is the tissue that covers us from outside, so it makes the outer layer of the skin, which is the epidermis, and it lines us from inside, so it lines our body cavities. For example, this organ here is the stomach, and the inner lining is an epithelial tissue. Any epithelium is avascular, meaning no blood vessels. So it doesn't have any blood vessels. And this is a good thing because if our epidermis have blood vessels, if you scratch your skin, you will bleed. Any epithelium has a fixed basement membrane. So above this basement membrane, we have the epithelial cells. The epithelium has many sensory nerve endings, and also it's very fast regenerative. So, for example, the cells of our epidermis shed off and then they are replaced automatically and fast. The epithelium can be simple or stratified. The simple epithelium has one layer of cell above the basement membrane. So here is the basement membrane, and above that basement membrane, there is only one layer of cells. Now, the simple epithelium can be classified depending on the shape of the cells. So the simple squamous epithelium has flat cells above the basement membrane. So squamous means it's flat, squished. So if you see these flat cells above the basement membrane, so that is a simple squamous epithelium. It lines our blood vessels, for example. Simple cuboidal epithelium. So one layer because it's a simple, and cuboidal because the cells above the basement membrane are cuboidal in shape. How to know that the cell is cuboidal? Look at the nucleus because it's darkly stained. If the nucleus is circular, this means that the cell is cuboidal. So here is the basement membrane, and above the basement membrane, we have those cuboidal cells with circular nuclei. So that is a simple cuboidal epithelium, and this is found on the surface of the ovaries and thyroid gland. The third type of the simple epithelium is simple columnar epithelium. So the cells look like columns. So if you look at the nuclei here, they are kind of tall oval nuclei. So this lines the digestive organs, and the apical surface has microvilli. So if you look at the top of any cell, it has microvilli that we call also brush border. And this is to increase the surface area for food absorption. Any columnar epithelium has goblet cells. So here is a goblet cell, and the goblet cells produce mucus to line and protect the surface of the digestive system cavities. Now, if there is multiple layer of cells above the basement membrane, this means that the epithelium is stratified. How to get the second name of any stratified epithelium? You look at the top cells. You don't care about the basal cells. Maybe they are cuboidal, maybe they are columnar, we don't care. To get the name, we look at the apical or top cells. So as you can see here, the top cells are flat, are squamous. So this is a stratified squamous epithelium. The same here. But there is a difference between this one and this one. Here, the top cells are squamous and they have nuclei. If the cell has a nucleus, this means it is a live cell. So here are living cells. This means this is stratified squamous non-keratinized because the keratinized cells are dead. So if you look at the top cells here, they do not have any nuclei. So they are dead. They actually contain the keratin protein. So this is stratified squamous keratinized. Why keratinized? Because the top cells are dead. They do not have nuclei. This is the epidermis of our skin. So the epidermis of the skin is stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. How about the stratified squamous non-keratinized? This is the one found at the lips, tongue, vagina, and anal canal. As they try to contact with the skin, that's stratified squamous non-keratinized, and then as you go to the skin, it becomes keratinized. Here also we have stratified epithelium because there are more than one layer of cell above the basement membrane. So here is the basement membrane, and here you can see more than one layer. How to get the second name? Again, we look at the top cells. You see that the top cells have circular nuclei. We agreed that if the nucleus is circular, then the cell is cuboidal. So this is stratified because there are more one layer of cells above the basement membrane, and the top cells are cuboidal, so stratified cuboidal epithelium. This is found in the lymph nodes. Here, that's also stratified epithelium. And let's get the second name. The apical or top cells are column-shaped. So this is stratified columnar epithelium. This is a very rare type of epithelium, and it may be found in the pharynx. Okay, look at this epithelium. Here is the basement membrane. And if you look to that without paying enough attention, you would say that this is stratified epithelium. However, it is not, because there is only one layer of cells above the basement membrane. So all the cells are touching here the basement membrane, but they are of different lengths. So this is a tall one, here is a shorter one, here is a shorter one, here is a tall one. So here the nuclei are not at the same level, and this gives the false impression that this is stratified epithelium. That's why we call that pseudo, so it's false or fake, pseudo stratified columnar epithelium. If you look at the apical cells, they have cilia, motile cilia. So this epithelium is the one that lines the nasal cavities and the trachea. Here, the cilia are motile. So if you inhale any foreign particles, these cilia will move and kick out the material out of your respiratory system. So here again, pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium. Okay, here is another epithelium. So here is the basement membrane. And you can see that there are variety of cell types. This epithelium is transitional epithelium. Why transitional? Because the top cells change their shape from cuboidal to become squamous. This lines the urinary bladder. When the urinary bladder is full, the pressure of urine makes those cuboidal cells squamous. When the urinary bladder is empty, the pressure is released, and then the top cells become cuboidal again. That's why we call that transitional. So if you look at this specific transitional epithelium, do you think this has been taken from an empty bladder or a full bladder? So the top cells here are cuboidal with circular nuclei. This means this has been taken from an empty urinary bladder rather than from a full urinary bladder.